Yeah. Hi,
Hi.
Juzer.
Hi.
How has been your overall experience interacting with students of Shaheed Sukhdev College of
No,
Business
it's
Studies?
uh, it's it's fantastic, because I mean, obviously, I've heard a lot about the institution. 40 years is a long period of time, and it's my first visit to the institution, of course. And I think what really impresses me is uh, that the focus the institution has on encouraging entrepreneurship. I think a lot of times we hear about a problem in the Indian education system about the fact that, well, you may have actually lots of people who've got the education, but how many of them are getting real jobs in the market? But I think when you encourage entrepreneurship, you're essentially trying to kind of, self-employ yourself, self-hire yourself, and actually, build out an ecosystem which can really solve real-world problems, right? And I think full marks to the leadership, at the institution to kind of really encourage this effort. I mean, I just went around the college and looked at all the different labs, the robotics lab. There is a full section which is essentially just for ideation. I don't know of too many institutions, at least in my time when I studied, which actually had those kind of facilities. So I think it's students should be really blessed and should take advantage of this.
Very rightly mentioned. In fact, thanks for putting that. In fact, while the interaction was happening at the institute level, the main important thing that they highlighted was that look at not just the idea but the problem solving.
Correct.
I think that's a very important point that you mentioned. Secondly, like you have been iterating during the presentation also that the wealth side of it, it's become a life skill.
Yes.
And while you were also mentioning the kind of growth that we are looking at mutual fund industry, the way it has grown to 88 lakh crore and the
Yes.
prospective lot of opportunities. Any
Yeah.
specific key takeaways that you want students to take?
I think the key takeaway is, lots of people think that, if you look at the olden ways of managing money, right? कि भाई आप, gold was a very important asset class at our, earlier time. Property is an obsession. Gold and property are obsessions with Indians. But I think people need to quickly realize that when it comes to managing your money, there is a certain sense of one important factor of liquidity that you should keep in mind. The two is the fact that you should get market rate real returns, right? Because a lot of these assets are fairly illiquid in that sense compared to a mutual fund, for example, which gives you market rate returns and the kind of liquidity that you probably desire. But I think the larger, if I could really zone out and talk about this a little more, uh, I think the days of people saving money in a gullak, okay, and it's a great starting point. But with inflation and all of the other vagaries of the financial markets, that's not the most sustainable way for you to create wealth, right?
Right.
Earning money easy. I've seen a lot of people who earn a lot of money but have zero wealth
Wealth creation.
accumulated
Yeah.
for themselves. On the other hand, I've seen enough examples of people who perhaps had a fairly simple living, but over a period of time, actually created wealth because I think they understood the importance of managing that money well, and understood the importance of the fact that when you invest in the capital markets is where perhaps inflation beating growth is really possible. So I think my biggest suggestion to anybody who's watching this conversation is that don't underestimate the power of knowing how to manage money. Okay, because if you don't have that life skill, and as I said that to the students earlier, you will struggle in life for sure. Yeah.
Very right. In fact, there's a powerful quote which says the wealth moves swiftly from those who don't know how to manage it to
Absolutely.
those
Yes.
who really
Absolutely.
do.
Yeah.
So another thing, like for the NMFO, particularly, like we have come out with a second season
Yeah.
with the 5x kind of a growth, and Shaheed Sukhdev College of Business Studies becoming a zonal partner for a
Yes.
zonal round.
Yes.
Any specific message for the leadership you want
Oh,
to?
well, I think firstly, thank you for kind of partnering with Finex and Franklin Templeton to make this initiative bigger. Because I think if you don't get the partnership, it's very difficult then to really scale the proposition up. So I think kudos and a big thank you to the institution. I think my vision really, and the reason why Franklin Templeton is associated passionately with the Olympiad is because we really believe that uh, the current generation needs to start understanding money very quickly and very early, and we want to be sure that we are there right up front to hold their hand and take that first step, right? I mean, if you're an industry person, you have obviously heard of the Franklin Templeton Academy, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, when I visit bankers, senior bankers, the first thing that they tell me is that, hey, we learned the art of mutual funds through the Franklin Templeton Academy. I think we want to take that to one level lower and at scale, to say that, well, can we actually partner with the current generation? Because look at where India is, right? Nearly 60% of India's population is under the age of 30, and they will need help, right? Somebody needs to just raise their hand up and say that we are ready to help you out. And that's the reason why we've partnered. I mean, I often speak to Himanshu that I think we should eventually, aspire to take this vernacular, because think about it, that the Olympiad is still a
Across
English.
the
It's an
places.
English. You need to know English
Yeah.
to kind of really participate in this examination. But that shouldn't be a limiting factor, right? And I think my vision, and I'm sure Himanshu and I will probably get there in due course of time, is to actually make this a multilingual, truly national opportunity for people across. I mean, it has to cut the language barrier. I mean, हमको क्यों लगता है कि भाई जो पंजाबी, हिंदी, बंगाली बोलता है, he doesn't deserve to know about mutual funds. He doesn't deserve to learn about financial independence. I mean, I think that opportunity should be given to them too, and hopefully we'll get there.
Oh, great. I think that sounds so powerful.
Yeah.
Absolutely, the national should be with the complete
Yeah,
diversity
that's what
and
national.
covering the
Yeah, what's the point of doing
entire,
national with only
going
English?
right up to the remote areas
Yeah,
and bringing everybody
yeah, that's
into
what we want to
the
do.
common pool.
That's what we want to do.
Thank you so much, Juzer, for coming, visiting at Chase Sukhdev, and obviously motivating and inspiring the
Sure.
students to
Thank you.
participate.
Pleasure's all
Thank
mine.
you
Yeah.
so
Pleasure's
much.
all
Yeah,
mine. Thank you.
thanks. Yeah,
Thanks.